Alright, welcome everybody. I am Jared Napolitano, the marketing advocate for the Star Wars CCG Players Committee. I'm doing a stream here. I've done these for a couple of the other recent Retro League events, but I've gotten a few jump replays of games for event number 3 of the 2022 Retro League. The format is Premier to Death Star 2, so I figured I'd go through them. 3 of them are mine, 2 of them are from one of my teammates, Ryan Jellison. He provided the replay links. So I think these are usually fun, usually helpful for new and returning players, and a lot of old school players. I think I've been enjoying these streams and seeing kind of the format, especially if they're new to Jump, and seeing how it all kind of works. So we'll go through these replays. Hopefully they're only about 10-15 minutes each. I'll try to be pretty quick. Like I said, 3 of them are mine, so I'm pretty familiar with what happened. I can kind of talk through some of my mindsets and my approach. But as you can see on the screen, this is the forum post for this event. Again, this is the third of 5 events. It's going to wrap up. All players have until Saturday, I guess technically Friday, but the way jump time works, it's going to technically be Saturday, to get their 6th game in. We started with 55 players. I think we had close to around 50 this thread, which is on the forums. Of course, there's prizes. This is a free league. I think by the time we got to game 6, it looks like we still have 50, so that's great. We had, I guess, 5 kind of drop, or maybe for work conflicts or things got busier than they were expecting. For once it started, but we still have 50 going and strong, which is an amazing number. And I think for a lot of these players, they're not used to doing Swiss events or scheduled events or even get Gemp. So I think this league and these events have been really helpful in getting people used to everything, and I think it's been really good for returning players, frankly. And Steve Sanders, goes by Leverandon on the forums, has been doing a great job running the event, and I've been helping just kind of like from an advisory and from a prizes perspective. So that's the intro. I finished the event. Just quick background: I finished 4-2. I won my first game. I lost my second game, which will be the first game that we review, to Johnny Chu. Third game I won. Fourth game I won. So I was 3-1. 5th game, we'll do that game as well. I played Brad Kipple, and the 6th game I played Benji Chu. I actually played that this morning. So we'll leave a little suspense there on kind of how those latter couple games plan out. But have on here the leaderboard, so a little bit of spoiler here. But so yeah, I went 4-2, and my 2 losses are to the 2 people who are currently at the top. Of course, that'll change. Johnny Chu and Brad Kipple, 2 really, really, really good players, especially Johnny. But Brad is a very good player, in the old days of the Cypher era, but also recently. He's qualified for 2 or 3 straight OCSs. And we have Sebastian here, 5-1. Dark Deal, who's a big-time Premier Death Star 2 player. We have a new returning player, Teacher, 5-0. I think he still has to play his last game. There's 2 undefeateds going into Game 6. They were both Dark in Game 5. I think that Dark is definitely favored in this format, especially because Route to Operations is really, really strong. That's my opinion. And Dr. Torch is down here. It says 4-0 on the jump, but I think he had either an opponent just never played, or maybe, I don't think he got like a game 1 bye or something like that. Maybe just for some reason or another ended up playing the game outside of the jump league. But there are 2 5-0s going into this game 6, and it looks like neither of them have played yet. So looks like if they both lose, it'll go to SOS across a lot of different 5-1 players. If they both win, that'll be interesting, because it'll be SOS tiebreaker between the 2 of them. I wonder, I mentioned this in one of the other events. If they're both 6-0, if their SOS is like identical or really, really close, maybe they'll do like a playoff or something. That would be kind of neat, and we could hopefully stream that live. I think that'd be pretty exciting. So that's just the event. Again, we had, looks like technically 55 people, 56, something like that, by 50. All right, so without further ado, I'll jump into the game. Try to keep this to an hour. Oh, excuse me. All right, so here's game 1 with the jump replay here. So I'm playing against Johnny Chu. I had a feeling he was going to play Route Through Operations. Again, this is game 2. We're both 1-0. I'm playing Prophet. This is almost card for card Bastion's top 8 deck from the retro event last year. I made a couple changes, but who am I to make edits to what Bastion kind of came up with? But it was a top 8 deck, so I think there might have been some kind of match play card choices that Bastion made. I definitely wanted to tweak it a little bit more, selling out a little bit more for ROPS. I didn't think Johnny was going to play hunt down for one reason or another. We'll do a sticker book token during this for the prize program, which I pasted in here. I'll do it again. This is the forum post for the sticker book program. So basically, you watch, I'll give a token, you send an email to holotheater@starwarsccg.org, and you'll get some PC packs to open with some really cool foils and some mini stickers to complete your sticker book. If anyone who has kids is probably pretty familiar with it. But so turn one, pretty vanilla. Johnny puts out a sight, puts out Karita, puts out exterior docking bay. I get open-handed Twix. I put R2 out. My plan is going to be to move him over and have him be with a Scompling, so I can potentially use How Do We Get Into This Mess here at the bottom to cycle my cards on my hand. I have Luke, who would deploy for a ton. Obviously against ROPS, there's like Imperial Barriers, and they have ATSDs which can react. So you need like a lot of different pieces. I think some people will say that Throne Remains with the nudges is good. And you play like, I think Hayes had a deck like this in the retro event with like 7 senses for all the tricks, like the tramples, the barriers, the reacts, everything like that. So Johnny let me revert here. I could have saved a force. I don't know what I did. So something pretty minor. So I just moved R2 over. I probably should have just deployed him straight to the docking bay. I don't know why I didn't do that. So I have home 1. Got a Lando. I have Where You're Looking For Me that I can get 3PO and R3PO. I think I might have considered, I'm not sure if Bastion had R3PO and maybe like ISB with spies. So obviously once ROPS flips, it's going to be hard to flip him back. So I think the idea is to try to find the sweet spot of kind of squatting on the Raltier sites and preventing them from flipping. But the problem is, like, all the Rebels are deploy +2. So Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight's 10 deploy, which is just a boatload. I guess I probably should have just thrown him. Or I think maybe I activated the home 1 docking bay. That would have been good if I played that, then deployed Luke, and then transited him over. That would have saved a bunch of force. Like, what is that? A net of 4 force, right? Something like that. But yeah, it looks like I just activated as I see home 1 docking bay towards the bottom of my reserve deck as I pulled launching the assault. Honestly, because I have home 1 in my hand, I'm not even sure why I did that unless I was just trying to set up. So, I mean, honestly, I might have just lost the game here just by putting Luke on Tatooine. Probably a bad idea. I'm going for a flip here. I don't have too many cards in my lost pile. I'm playing which Han? EPP Han. So it's a retreat 5. He doesn't have secret plans. He doesn't have coward out. 3PO here. I don't have Run Luke Run actually right now. So still kind of in the setup phase. He's got his sights. He's got a ton of cards in his hand. I'm wishing I had Grimtosh right now. His turn 3, predictably he's just gonna like vomit cards on the table, flip, set up. He's gonna have plenty of counters to plays like Tempest Scout 6 and barriers and the like. So as he looks here, looks like he's floating a Death Star. Interesting. Boba Fett and Slave 1. Here he's going to come down all the ATSDs. So Arnett, who deploys for free. Lieutenant Commander Arden, who is my favorite character to use Chewbacca Protector game text to cancel his game text, and then he can't draw Battle Destiny. I think it was against either Steve Brenson or maybe it was against Chris Worse in the OCS a couple years ago. It led to a pretty big blowout against ROPS by doing that. Because a lot of times ROPS relies on getting that Battle Destiny, making it +3, 4, 5, something like that. So you can have like one character that can really hold his own or her own. Alright, so I'm playing How Do We Get In This Mess, cycle some cards at the end of Johnny's turn. Not really a fan of what I have in my hand. So I deployed Launching the Assault so I can dig home 1 back out. Couple characters here. The Henempty would have been nice to go down like turn 1 or 2 to Ral tier. But these generic sites are so good, and I'll just do a quick. The next event 4 of the 5-event league, is Premier through Jabba's Palace official tournament sealed deck, and that of course includes No Escape and Unita. And Unita, I think, I don't know if it killed ROPS, but it definitely made it much worse that you have this big time deploy reduction to diamond sites. So that went a long way, I think, in driving Raltier Ops down in the meta. No Escape was very strong against Honor the Jedi, which then made Hunt Down better. I think the meta will shift a little bit for that, and I think the Throne Room Nudge, same thing with No Escape, It works against the diamond sight, so it makes it a little easier. I think some people made some pretty good observation that bringing before me is really good against throne room mains with the nudge. Um, and that I think helped drive it down out of the meta as well, because you can just get Emperor out there and kill the nudges, and a lot of that steam is lost. So I think I'll play in the next event. I like these events. I don't go too crazy building decks just because with everything else going on with advocate responsibilities and playing like the OCS and the Jaw Brawls coming up, and it's just a lot of games to play and a lot of volunteer stuff to do. So unfortunately, I don't have a ton of time to really theory craft, but it definitely has been cool to see a lot of different types of players. Some, like I said, new players, returning players, young players, old players, people who play open very actively, people who exclusively play old school formats. So here and now, I'm just going back to the game here, just putting a bunch of stuff on Tatooine. I guess my plan is, I can get you this direct damage for 3 now with the 7 side of my objective. My force drains are all going to be 0 because route to ops is flipped. I didn't even try to attack here because obviously Johnny's got tricks here with barriers. He can react. He probably has Tempest Scout 6 that can react from hand. I'm sure he's got a Gick. I think that happens next turn. So like a lot of these card choices are Bastions. Fallen Portal works at the docking bay or at Jabba's Palace to prevent a counter beat. Run Luke run. Now I have Luke in the middle sight, so he can go either way. I got my Home 1 package here with Home 1 and Admiral Akbar, and another how do we get in this mess, which I play Where You're Looking For Me to go grab R3PO. So he's going to just drain, no battle orders out. These are nice free drains of 1 for Johnny. I've already released Han, so I'm not getting really forced back. I'm going to have it on the edge. Oh, which is going to remind me, oh man. So here we go. We'll go through, I'll speed this up a little bit. Again, this was game 2 of 6. We were both 1-0. So here comes Vader, who's just going to kill Han, which I don't have a barrier. I don't have like a dodge. This is not a great move by me. And then even on top of that, and then I played Run Luke Run, which kind of a waste, because he's going to get +3 to his Battle Destiny. He's going to definitely kill Han. And then, like, I think after this happened, I think I told myself, oh, I should have maybe, like, tried to not, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. But I think I regretted playing Run Luke Run. I know that. So he hits Han, which basically means I'm going to, like, lose the game. I don't even think there's a second Han. I think there is, actually. So Han's going to shoot back, and he's going to predictably miss. I got Lando, who can also fire. He's probably going to miss. I need to draw 6. 6, because Insight's there. Our Insight has been tossed. R2-D2's doing his thing, allowing me to draw, and there's the 6, so it wasn't too crazy. Maybe this is one of the things. Like, heading for the Medical Frigate did nothing here, because I knew he kind of had a Gick. He wouldn't do this play without one, I think. So I'm like, maybe I'll get him 6 overflow. Nah. So I flip back. He just uses his Gick. I don't like grab it or anything. There is no escape quite yet in this format. I like just throwing cards on the table, probably without much of a plan. But now at least I'm doing 2 free direct damage. He's doing 2 drains of 1, so that's kind of good for me. Part of me is like, oh, I should go to space, but like it's a lot of force to play Home 1 to get freaking Sergeant Barrack. I hate Sergeant Barrack, by the way. I hate that card. So he goes to trample. R2 is definitely going to get... He definitely targeted R2, right? Yeah, so R2 goes away. So when I drew that under the attack, that's 6, I told myself, oh, let me track around that 6. I can play on the edge and get 5 force back. And that'll be helpful. And we'll see how that pans out. So Leia's kind of on her own here. I do draw 5, but Barrack is going to reduce that down to a 1. And this thing has no immunity because Arnett is not on it. So he's got to lose somebody. But now he's got Barrack by himself. This is where I totally mess up my tracking. The heading for the Medical Frigate, which I was pretty close, right? I think on the attack might have been 1 down. maybe either one down or whatever I did one too much, and then I knew he had barriers, so I figured, oh, let me bait out a barrier, I guess. Um, oh, that's what I was thinking. So if I left Luke there, I could have then run Luke to run after I made him. He probably wouldn't have had to burn the Gick though, if I don't move Luke over, because then Han doesn't have a Battle Destiny. Yeah, so that plan wouldn't have made sense. Sorry to ramble a little bit, but I'm kind of recollecting what all happened here. We're gonna see live games from top tables. Probably not. I hope so. We've been asking people, but what I've kind of experienced, E-Scrapper, is I see people just kind of in the jump lobby, like, hey, you free now? Okay, let's play. So, I mean, and to each their own. I know people have got all different schedules. People are on several different time zones. So sometimes trying to coordinate. I need, like, and now we're in the summer. A lot of people are on vacation. Both European players and American players take common time for vacation. That's what I had with Brad Kipple. That, hey, let's loosely target here, not set in stone. So, I think some people might feel kind of bad of, say, hey, commentators, we're going to play here, and then change it around. So instead, they just don't do that. But I think there's some value in these replays because they go quicker. The interaction with the Twitch viewers isn't quite as organic, but I know there are. It sounds like there's 2 games left with 2 5-0s, so maybe we could follow up a little bit more, and try to get them. I know Dan did a game versus Timo and Johnny, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and I think that was pretty neat. So all right, so I'm just losing cards here. Not looking good. He's now puts out his 4th sight. Now he's getting +4 for Battle Destiny everywhere. He runs away to my Echo Docking Bay, reinforces with Arnett. He's just spread really thin on routes here. Definitely he's got, barriers, and here's the barrier on Wedge. Need a barrier. The better Imperial barrier cancelers came out later, like, Desperate Reach existed in Cloud City, but once they attached Bis Shuffle to it, it actually could be cycled. And Inconsequential barriers didn't come out to Coruscant. I don't know. Looking back, I feel like barriers were probably so powerful. I mean, Darkseid had blast door controls, which canceled it all the way back to Premiere. So I'm just drawing a lot of Destiny 1 characters who are all really expensive. He's up a bunch of force here. Definitely has better board position. Neither of us have gone to space yet. Tough for me to go to space. It's just so expensive to put home 1 out, and then if he basically draws 2 Battle Destiny, I'm completely here. So now he's just reinforcing and just making absolutely positive that I don't ever flip him back. Obviously, Johnny is one of the best players ever to play the game, so that is a good plan from him. So he's going to play Operational. So Operational Plan's a pretty cool card because this card gets around Beggar and Frozen Assets. Frozen Assets isn't coded, of course, in Gemp quite yet. Hopefully someday, but Beggar is now able to be played without breaking the system, supposedly. So this is a card that you can play to put a card on your force pile so that when your opponent deploys Beggar and uses up all your force and plays Draw Their Fire and prevents you from playing Gick, you can play that right before the battle. Although, no, it doesn't help Beggar, right? Because then they could still use the force. Yeah, if you put the card on your force pile, then Light Slide just says, okay, initiate battle, use 1 force, use your force. So, and you can't play Operational Plan during battle because Draw Their Fire requires it. So yeah, I guess it's much more for Frozen Assets than for Beggar. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so I'm just got a bunch of rebels on route here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm causing like basically no damage now that I'm on my 0 side. We'll speed this up. My force drains are all like basically nothing. I messed up the On the Edge, which might have been able to buy me some time. I got We're Doomed going to prevent force loss. All right, but I don't really have a great way to cycle it. Now he puts Janice at my audience chamber, and I concede because, yeah, look, he's now threatening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I am threatening 0 damage. And I only have 10 cards face down to work with. So that was our first game. All right, so because of my preamble and because that was maybe one of the longer games we'll do. No, actually, I think maybe some of Ryan's games are pretty interesting. But let's do the sticker book token, and then hopefully not everyone leaves. But we'll do a card that just sticks out to me from that last game. We'll do Biggs Darklighter. So Biggs Darklighter, I'll say that verbally. I'll say it again at other points of the stream, but that'll be the token. All right, so Ryan Jellison, one of my teammates on Team Moneyball, sent me this replay. I think he's very skeptical of this format. He says it's very like NPE and degenerate, but I mean, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as like the older formats like Premier to New Hope, Premier to Dagobah. I think Premier to Death Star 2, I think they did actually hash out a lot of some of the stuff. Like look at all these. I mean, this is where people complain about shields, but like look at all these starting effect options. These are basically all shields. Battle order, you cannot hide forever. Press enforcement, there is no try. Two, there is no try. Secret plans, those are all defensive shields right now. So basically, I think it's really neat that defensive shields allow you to basically get 5 cards at least of cards you can play to do your thing in your deck rather than just counter your opponent or try to have like a fair game, so to speak, like with the way Battle Order does or Secret Plans does. I think Ryan's a little skeptical, but he sent me this replay. This is the one I think I did watch. I thought it was really interesting. I kept saying, I think uh, I was surprised at who he said won versus as I was watching it. So we see Outer Rim Scouts, we see ISB, we see, of course, Scythe 1, which is a card that still pops up to this day, and that thing's operational with the move phase, such a powerful card. Oh, yeah, thanks, Dan. Good point that he put Janus Egregious at my audience chamber, but because I was on my 0 side. I'm toggling back and forth here. I'm just on my one laptop, so I apologize if I'm not, I'm usually on my double screen in my office, but figured kind of do a little more laid back here. All right, so we have Throne Room from Brad Kipple against Ryan Jellison's ISB here with pretty common mobilization points, suppressive enforcement. Right? Actually, no Imperial Rest Order. I don't even think that was one of the options, right? I think he does kind of like the Commander Merijic plan. That's a fun word to hear Dan try to pronounce on some streams. But yes, but Ryan's got like Outer Rim Scouts in here, therefore he's got Abyssal Ornament. There's Merijic. I'm pretty sure that Ryan probably realized that Merijic was in his force pile. Said, hey, that's a card that I need to get my systems out. As Brad puts out some more docking bays here. This is interesting. I think this is what Desai played in the top 8. It just at the Throne Room Insurrection start with the 3 effects. A lot of people would do the careful planning to get the farm and the swamp and do the nudges, but I think there's a lot of like relatively a lot of really good like ability to rebels that are really helpful. So there is some synergy with activation and getting rebels out and having your Ellis Hellrock counter all together. Staging areas is nice because you can just kind of stick characters at these different ones. Against ISP, it's risky obviously because everyone's a spy in the deck. As we see an out of commission, a Scott Lingrell favorite card here. Let me speed this up, especially in the early part. So Ryan's got his Evader to cancel Revolution, and then a bunch of Nouns in his hand. So turn, there we see, kind of missed it quickly, but I saw some Jedi Knight, we saw an Or Marco. Basically your Throne Remains build. Here comes EPP Obi and KSC. Brad's a big fan of foils on Jemp. I think some of his decks that he plays a lot, like Diplo and Open, and I'm trying to think of other decks that Brad plays a lot. I don't think he's the biggest ISB guy. Robs, I think he plays a decent amount. And he actually said in his Father's Day post for the Father's Day fundraiser event that he's always been a big fan of walkers. As Ryan kind of sets up here in space, he has, his 2 ISB agents out? Yeah, Ozzel and Merijic. He can now start getting, he's got Overload, Den of Thieves, cancel some drain. So between ISB's 7 side and Den of Thieves and the retrieval of agents, I think maybe this is why Ryan thinks that's kind of degenerate, just because you could just retrieve so much with this deck. And you could just really stretch out the game, potentially go to time. So he loses an ISB agent 5d6 off the top, which of course he's probably planning to retrieve. Once he flips, Brad draws a monster hand here on his turn 3. No, his turn 4. So he's up to 16. Ryan's going to have a pretty big turn here to just deploy a bunch of stuff. Captain Goddard's out, the anti-landing claw guy. Den of Thieves goes down, and immediately Brad goes to alter it. Oppressive Enforcement is out. So it's going to go to this use pile. And we saw at the beginning that Ryan had 2 There's No Try. And again, like Ryan's already played all 6 of his games. Looks like Johnny had already played all 6 of his games. And Brad played them all. So, yeah, I always wanted to be sensitive. I don't want to be, giving away any intel here. But a lot of these, I think, actually, let me double check that. So Johnny, me, Ryan, Brad, who's in these other games? I just want to make sure that they've all SWCC, or at least they're not like at the top tables and have like a very, very consequential game left. Yeah, I think we should be okay here. Brad finished 5-1. Johnny finished 5-1. Like we said at the beginning, the top two players as of this moment. All right, so Bradshaw's up to 22, digging for something. Out of commission is pretty good against ISP, where you just, if you can place the agents out of play, then they can't be retrieved. We have a drain at 2 at Kashik for Ryan. And here come so many systems here, but this is almost like a dark side hidden base with 5-6 battleground systems out. And finally, Ryan flips on his turn 5 with the requisite 4 ISP agents. He's going to get one back. He has no loss pile, over 30 cards face down. There's a lot of cards in both players' life force in hand. Yeah, so Brad just found 2 Twixes that he puts out to get some activation. He can now activate up to 19 a turn. Home 1 goes out with Tycho Selchu. That thing's immune less than 8, I believe. Out comes Sullust. I don't think we saw a second overload in Ryan's reserve deck. Something special. This card's kind of neat. This obviously is a very common virtual card nowadays. Open, but for opponent to move a starship from same location as your Star Destroyer requires +2 force, so 3 force total. Late game, that can probably be pretty consequential. Especially late game, force gets kind of tight. People are playing battle order to drain and officer evacs, and there is just a ginormous amount of pilots on this Dominator. Scythe 3's here. So he disembarks this. Once reaching move phase is my fire starship weapon, and or make an additional move. So he could fire this during his move phase. Is Meanda on it? Yep. He adds 2 to the total weapon destiny. So what does he need to draw? A 7? Is that right? Yeah, so it's going to be tough for him to hit that, unless I'm missing something. But he's got a Monarch, which he's holding here. I would play this. I mean, maybe he's afraid of the sense from Brad, as Brad commits Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, and EPP Leia aboard Home 1. Braun Burrs is hanging out at the Home 1 dock, or the Echo docking bay to help with staging areas. Looks like more out of commission. So Ryan now has 3 cards out of play. Tall's Cod, EPP Obi off the top from the train at Kifex. Let's see. Janus Crigidus. So many characters on this Star Destroyer. And Ryan obviously doesn't have any other ships in his hand. Scythe 1's going to move. He's going to keep chasing him. Disembark. Play Abyss, and that's going to get sense. So again, so he does have Oppressive Enforcement out. That was just to pull an Outer Rim Scout into hand from reserve deck. Ryan can't retrieve anything because he doesn't have anything. His lost pile. And looks like Ryan, they're very even here on life force in terms of game, board state rather. Looks like Ryan is looking at a drain at 1 coming his way from Brad. But of course he has, Den of Thieves was canceled though. So out comes Wedge. Wedge can cancel a Battle Destiny with, here we go. Alright, so I know is played. Han, is it like a super home one? I can't do it as easily. So on there, in case you can't see, there's a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, Tycho Selchu, Wedge Red Squadron Leader, EPP Leia, EPP Han. So Leia adds 1 with Han, Han adds 1 with Luke, so that's 3. I know is going to add 2, which gets you to 5. Plus he can cancel Ryan's 1. So yeah, a Dark Side Tarn Mice would be pretty cool right now. And then Brad draws a 0 and a 4, a 5. I mean, it's all these Battle Destiny, and he's probably going to make Ryan lose like 2, 3 Outer Rim Scouts, so 6. So it's a total of 18. So yeah, it's going to be 3, maybe 4. Probably 3. But to battle damage, he's got 17. Let's say he's going to lose 1, 2. Yeah, the Outer Rim Scouts don't have like a big chunky forfeit the way that some of these Imperials do. So he loses... Wow, what was that? Puts Merzik. Merzik did his job. Goddard. Outer Rim Scouts. So he lost a bunch. That was pretty good. But Ryan's got some stuff he's going to punch back with here. The Zuckus isn't going to do much because there's like ability approximately 27 on the home 1 right now. Another out of commission. Finally, Ryan's able to have his grabber and grab it. Goes down for free because of oppressive enforcement. He's going to activate everything. Finally, there's no try goes out, which will help him for all of Brad's Sense and Alter. Monarch finally played. He was hanging on for that for a while. I guess he was waiting for a timely place to play it. Zuckus goes out, and Ryan's just going to go wide here in space. Sullust is a drain at 2. Kashyyyk is a drain at 2. But Ryan's gonna, and then he's moving here to Kifex, disembark, retrieve an agent, and now he's threatening 6 damage to Brad's 2. Plus he's got a better retrieval engine going here. He finds another Star Destroyer. He's gonna overload on the EPP. Revolution drawn sense. That's gonna be 3 force lost total between the sense and the altar and Luke's lightsaber from hand. I guess. Am I missing something? Does he? Oh yeah, he tried. Was it Ozzel? Was Ryan? Because against an EPP, you got to draw a 0, right? So. Oh, excuse me. Maybe someone in the chat can tell me wrong. And that's how overload works. And Brad must have been worried. That's probably bad. I bet Brad was probably like, "Why did I do that? Just to save one of his many pilots." That's probably not going to swing the game. He lost some precious force here. So Melas comes out with. The Falcon, all of the ability at the location clears, then he moves home 1 over to Kashyyyk to threaten to drain at 2, 2-1 versus 4, but Ryan's retrieving a force. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. Well, then Ozzel ended up in the lost battle. Maybe did he have 2? Why was that would be the reason why. Did he lose to the force drain after? Maybe that's what happened. I'm going fast here. Revolution is pulled by the signal, and Ryan's going to get some drains in here. He's got his O switch off. Piston Ornament Command. Like a game like this probably would have been very... it's probably been very grindy watching this live. So this is one where I think a replay is definitely better. Ryan's going to move some ships around, disembark, embark. Do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around, move some more ships here. He's going to fire Scythe 1 to shoot down the Falcon, presumably here. Yeah, pretty easily. Not easily. I think he needed a 3 and he drew a 4. So the Falcon's gone. Den of Thieves hasn't found its way back out, but Brad hasn't been having too many big drains here in the game. Probably would have been helpful there, but so it looks like I think Brad's technically up now in Hand and Life. Here comes the Revolution. Brad looking to put a drain of 2 through at Chief Sturber's hut, but of course Ryan has Evader to cancel it. And Brad has to lose a force for each one, which is something about Evader that if I ever played this in person, I'd probably forget that part. I'd just be so excited to cancel Revolution. Owner loses 1 force for each Revolution, so that's pretty good for Ryan here. Brad just cycles a weapon lev. And if you missed it here, I'll say it again. The token... The sticker book token is a Biggs Darklighter. So send that to Holotheater at starwarsccg.org. That's Holotheater, R-E at the end, not E-R. A couple drains here. Home on War Room, Captain Han. Good old Captain Han. A Sense lost from hand. Another Dreadnought comes out. So we got a lot of force to not a lot, or not a lot of, it's 26 to 14 here. A lot of characters is what I was meant to say at Sullust. Brad activates down, just has his sense there. Lieutenant Blount, who is presumably a character that'd be pretty helpful in this matchup, but with just the system there, Brad might, or it looks like he's got the Falcon, and home 1. Lieutenant Blount, obviously he occupies any Coruscant location, Emperor Sinister's agent is flipped. Like, he's kind of like, some people talk about, oh, it's so cool when you play out of commission and you put Vader out of play. I feel like the games that Lieutenant Blount actually swings are not a lot. Definitely not as a lot as, maybe some people in the chat have some interesting Lieutenant Blount stories, but he seems like a totally silver bullet for ISB, but like in a game like this, he's not doing anything. Like Jerome Webb might be more valuable. I'm not criticizing Brad's choice because I definitely see he has some merit, even if it's just to deploy 2 forfeit 6 pilot. But I feel like the games that Lieutenant Blount actually swings are very few. Definitely a little bit better in, like, if they have to play a site, I guess. As we kind of come to the finish here where Brad's just... or Ryan is probably just able to grind down Brad's life force here. Because he's only doing 1. And now comes Den of Thieves. Now he's got There's No Try and Oppressive Enforcement backing it up. ISB is on its 0 side. That was an interesting part of this, too. I think I missed that when that happened, but I remember I was seeing, you don't see that happen very often, ISB getting flipped back. Especially seemingly that Ryan has like 25 characters in his deck here. So, Outer Rim, out comes Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight again. He's going to go block this drain. Masterful Move's going to get played, so Ryan can now track that 6. Activate down to it. Looks like maybe, well, yeah, there's no point in any characters being at Chief Chirpus Hut now. With the Revolution gone. Looks like Ryan is up now, maybe 4 or 5 Life Force, including hand. Marajek, Outer Rim Scout, finally flips back on turn 12. Initiates battle, draw their fire swing, 32 to 16. And Ryan goes to Attic Destiny with Imperial Command, and Brad concedes. Yeah, because Ryan's going to be able to win this out. So that was interesting. A little ups and downs. We'll go to our third game. This is another one from Ryan. So that one versus Ryan and Brad was game game 3. Yeah, game 3. Brad's had it. Wow, he's had to play Jellison, me. Not that I'm anything. He played Mark Billings twice, Trent Law, and he played Timo. So Timo, Johnny, and Jellison. Timo, Johnny, Jellison, or he is Jellison. Okay, so all right, so this is against Will, who is one of our older school players, but I know he plays some open, Minnesota guy. So Ryan again gave me this. Will might actually be watching. So hopefully you already played your 6th game, or at least you already played your game with Light. But this is Ryan's ISB again. All right, so yeah, I'll probably go pretty quickly. So this is interesting versus Throne Room. Because yeah, we'll see a lot of the same stuff from Ryan here. Out comes the nudge from Will. Moves it over to the farm. Might as well, because on your turn, and saves his 3. So let's see here. I think this is another one of those. Yeah, like I said, Ryan plays a lot of different formats. He's on design. He made some comments that like this format's crazy. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Premier Death Star 2 is like the most. It is the most popular retro format. I don't think anything else is even close. So Goonie Tay comes out. Ryan's got a hand of 12, respecting Monarch somewhat. Or respecting Grimtosh, I should say. Although maybe didn't even have the opportunity to draw a little bit more. Only activating 4 here. Mob Points is going to grab a system, it looks like. Rendilli comes out. He's going to definitely want to find Marajek. But how's he going to find Marajek? To get some force here. Luckily he's got the Evader. Yeah, there we go. So Ryan does have the Evader to cancel the Revolution. You might want to do that before your opponent gets like a character. Although there's no sites that would make sense to deploy to. I was going to say, to get like, I don't know, that's immune to sense, isn't it? I think that, no, not immune to sense. Oh boy, that should be immune to sense. Den of Thieves comes out, but he's got the double sense alter protection here with There's No Try and Oppressive Enforcement. So Battle Plan comes into hand from reserve deck. I imagine this light side deck probably has like 10 to 12 Twix locations. Out comes the other nudge. We have 1 battleground on the table right now. And yeah, so he drew up to 18. Ryan plays his Monarch. Not going to be grabbed. It is interesting. Sometimes if you grab Monarch, then you're like, oh, wow, there's no way this person's playing 2. So then it's just open season. Then the whole rest of the game, you could just usually have a ginormous hand. It's a card. Those cards go in and out of the meta. Monarch and Grimtosh. Sometimes they make a little more sense for match play. Alright, so Tyrant, Ozzel, so that's 1 ISB agent. Let's count him. 2 ISB agent with Officer Evax. Goddard, not an ISB agent. And Ryan's going to draw. He's going to draw, get a barrier. He's got 2 of the SFS guns. Those, of course, can target. Oh boy, this isn't good. That Tana's going to get shut down. We got 2 guns, a Meanda, a Scythe 1. Does Dominator do anything with weapons, laser cannon, battery? So this is an interesting Easter egg. So laser cannon battery is that's the card that came out in Coruscant, right? It's one of like the most expensive uncommons. So it was alluded to, and it's weird because laser cannon battery says it can deploy on any capital starship. So doesn't make sense that Dominator has a special exception to allow it to deploy on it. The may fire twice per battle. It's pretty cool. But of course, like I said, that's not in this format. So I got some Twixes here for Will. These Yavin ones. Nowadays, Twixes in open, a lot of times they're force strain -1. Like, Home One War Room's -1. Echo Worm's -1. Force strain -1 for the opponent. But nowadays we have like 2-0s that no force drains here, like the communing sites, for example, or like Maul's Chambers that basically, one character can deploy to? Ezra, right? And Jar Jar can't, I don't think. Spies and Jar Jar can't. Alright, so Scythe 1 here, Major Meando, you're going to fire it. I don't know if you tracked that 6. Probably not at this point. He's only activating nothing. Wow. Yeah, Ryan's activating nothing. 5, jeez. But he does shoot down the Tantive. So, no battle order out yet. No battle plan out. Ryan's not flipped. Out comes traffic control. It looks like there's battle plans. That's good for Will. Honor. Yeah, alright, so the nudge did his job, and now Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, is going to defeat the nudge. Just barely. Oh, 2 zeros drawn. Jeez. Man, no lie, this thing probably does have 12 Twixes in it. And a 1. And the nudge is defeated. So now he's got a nice little drain of 2 here. Obi-Wan's going to kill the other nudge. There's a Grimtosh. So many zeros and 1s. And there's a 6. Alright, so the nudge gets easily defeated. So light side kicks off both of its creatures. No force strain here. We got an altar on Den of Thieves. There's no try. Den of Thieves is going to go to the use pile. Probably worthwhile now, because now Will can drain for 2. The farm, he's going to pay 3, drain for 1 at the swamp. Traffic control some cards. Leia comes out. And he can now pay 6 to drain for 3. Darkside has yet to flip yet. There's the flip. Alright, so 5d6 is going to be problematic unless Lightside needs to find like a sorry about the mess or something. That's where we did see in the last game, switch off was in there. Kind of going fast here. Luke's... Oh, wait. Luke's lightsaber? Doesn't he already have? Time out. Let me freeze this. Does he have Anakin's and Luke's? Oh, yeah. So he's going to move Anakin's to Leia. Okay, that makes sense. But that's a deploy phase action. Alright. We got this loaded Tyrant ship here. He moves to Kashyyyk. Why is he moving to Kashyyyk? Just to use force? Well, he's got his activation kind of straightened out now. And Lightside draws, or puts down a bunch of cards. Oh no, was that another Monarch? I don't know. We're going faster. Alright, so Grimtosh grabs 2 Dreadnoughts lost. Okay. Alright, so let's just do a pause here. This is going a little too fast. 24 to 16, so looks like Dark is up. Board state definitely favors Dark, I would say, just because 5d6 is doing work here. Drain a 1 and 1, but Dark's drain for 2 and retrieving 1. It slightly favors Dark side. But now he's spreading out, so he's going to force some more drains. He's got a barrier. He's got Outer Rim Scout, Den of Thieves. He got that back into hand. Luke, Wedge, draw their fire. All right. Secret Plans kicks on. Oslo gets tossed from hand. 6 for Battle Destiny. Nice. 6 for Battle Destiny. Oof. All right, so Dark loses 2 characters. Bisson Ornament's going to fetch another Outer Rim Scout. Drain a 3, Kashyyyk, because what is Chirnu up there? Did I miss that? It's got to be Chirnu, right? I think there he is, like a boss. Alright, so Sullus. Now there's no Battle Destiny here because is it just Han or just Wedge? Lightside's kicked out of space and concedes with Darkside. 23 to 18, so up 5, up 1 in hand, so that's up 6 overall. Light is going to have to keep, presumably, maybe he doesn't have much more space, or by the time he's only got 1 card in hand, so by the time he pieces together any credible space package, Darkside's going to draw a bunch more cards here at the end of his turn. Okay, alright, so Ryan wins that. That was game, what was that, 4? That was game 5. Okay, alright, so that was game 5. Cool. Alright, so this is our league, this is our other. Alright, so these last 2 are both mine. This is game 5. This is one I played against Brad. So I kind of had a feeling that Brad was going to play Rops or ISB, so I tweaked this deck. I wanted to try to get beggars in here, which is why I went with this Tashi Station start. Just to try to get him getting a big beat against like a numpty on Raltier or something, kind of blow through barriers, blow through reacting ATSTs. Kind of sounded good in theory, but my opening hand is just not good. I have a lot of weak characters, a lot of support characters. No Twixes, no Lukes, no Obi-Wans, which are bad. No one to take advantage, really, of the Tashi Station. So not a good start. Obviously, Brad, very good player. He kind of does the standard Raltier thing, gets out sites, gets out on Battlegrounds. This one, I feel like I drew it out because I was just hoping to get into a situation where I could get a big battle. All right, so I get Obi-Wan, I get Rendezvous Point. It's kind of helpful. He puts 2 guys to the Spatial Docking Bay. Of course, so all my rebels are deployed +2 here, and the pilots like Tycho, Jerome, General Carizian, those are all +1 because of the Spaceport docking text. Your pilots deploy +1 here. Probably something that's very often forgotten in person or used to be forgot. It's an automatic thing that's applied to Gem. So figure's not the best site for me to challenge. I mean, these generic sites are just so good. So here, again, you just always assume Raltier has barriers and ATSDs in their hand, and a gig. So all Imperials are immune. He's always immune. Emperor Palpatine. Plus, the Lightset has to use 4 force to battle here. That's crazy. When all rebels are deployed +2 on both sides of the objective. Rops is so good. I remember I played Rops a lot around this time. Definitely, I did the ATSD pilots. All right, so out comes Luke. I'm like, my plan here now is just, when I first saw overseeing it personally in my brain, it was, oh wow, this is gonna be drains of 2/2/2. But with projection of sky, and this doesn't actually work at its own site, it's only at each related site where an Imperial is present. So I probably, in retrospect, should have just waited, eaten, 1, 2, 3, 4 force damage, and try to regroup. But I'm also, respecting Monarch here, kind of hoping he will go over 12, and then I can catch him, try to nab some good cards. He comes down here with a bunch of stuff. Once, obviously, Rops is flipped, he can use 2 force during his control phase, pull any card. I get overflowed here for, 4? Don't have a Hujix because the deck is kind of hopeful to get a beat on the opponent, not, sustain. I go to the system here because, hey, let me try to take the system. Then I only need one other location, but Brad, in one way or another, is fortunate or smart enough not to put out the 4th site until he can reinforce it or protect it to make sure I don't overtake it and flip him back. I'm not even able to drain. I'm not able to satisfy battle plan at Raltier system. He does not have the battleground system in the deck, it seems, probably. And now he's going to just go wide on Raltier. No battle plan out, so he's just going to keep chipping away at me with these drains of 1, 2 with overseeing it personally. Put a couple characters out here. We got a trample, which he misses, which I'm fortunate about. But it's like, what am I... maybe I shoot one of the pilots outside, draw a Battle Destiny, and kill 2. I'm just between a rock and a hard place, and I know I don't really have enough, even with Beggar, enough force to really turn the screws on here. And didn't I try to do it, and he altered it, I think. And this is a game where I realized, oh, yes, Beggar is unique, so you can't deploy it twice on the same turn. Maybe during my babbling I missed that, but yeah, so that was also part of the foiled plan. I think I had 3 senses in here and 1 control and 2 altars. I think I top decked a couple senses in that battle. There's a control, so not that's obviously something that's very beneficial to Rops. It has lots of consistency, especially for this era. I get overflowed for another bunch. Yeah, I lose 2 cents and a control, it looks like. He grabs my, throw me another charge, just trying to cycle a 6. And at this point, our life forces are pretty equal, but the board state's just way better. Here comes... Okay, there's an altar on the Beggar. Okay, yeah. All right, so I got ahead of myself there. So now I have the 2nd in my hand, but I can't deploy it. So that really sets me back. I'm on the edge now, and I'm just like, maybe I can get some force back. Tunnel Vision to find a key card. I got Undercover I can put with Blount or Tycho, who are both spies. Block a drain at 2. He comes down here just with good cards to kick me out of space. Even with Jerome Webb, 2, subtract 1. Dengar and Punishing 1 adds 1 for each ship. And he occupies 5 Raltier locations. So he's basically getting +6, -1, 5. +5 just battle destiny, so he knocks off both my pilots. Not that they were really doing anything. That was kind of a waste of a turn to deploy those characters there. The the rebels are deploy +2 to all locations, so not even just the sites. So that's, does it really need to be the system too? That seemed like kind of crazy design. All right, so here I go. I'm gonna block it during a 2. Figure that guy's probably gonna get trampled pretty soon. He does have one as lost pile. I grab the barrier, right? And Raltier could just keep chipping away and not really have any risk. I think at some point I have like a 6-second track around here, but I'm just never able to cut through here. So my there's the 6 that's on the bottom. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I could do something with that. But not really. It's, starting to turn a 3 here at Obi-Wan's hut. I kind of have to throw down Melas. I should have put down... I mean, what does that do, though? I draw a 6. This is only forfeit 5 with Real Rest Order. So he has to lose. It stops the drain. But I should have put down maybe Romus, my guy here, the Vander. Put may not react to or from same location. I feel like... he's a Corellian? Yeah, lots of Corellians. Not that he's an alien, so he won't count towards some things that alien species count towards. But yeah, so Brad has Tempest Scout 6. Under attack would have been nice if I could have paired it with a lightsaber. And yes, he draws a 0, but it just becomes a 5 because he has Imperials at 5 locations, and this is just not going anywhere. So he's up 19 to 10. Yeah, I have a couple more cards in hand, but this isn't going to turn around. So that was my game 5. And then this morning I played Benji Chu, one of Johnny's kids, who's they're definitely doing really well. And it's cool seeing them getting involved in this event. This was, I think, a matchup. I think matchup really favors. As soon as I see they're as good at him, I kind of assume. Well, first off, I think it's always tougher against Hunt Down take, just because they could take away Vader so easily. They definitely have a lot of Imperials, and I'm playing. This is mostly Desai's top 8 deck. I think I changed maybe 4 or 5 cards. Again, just no disrespect to him, just kind of, hey. Yeah, there's like a pseudo match play element to him. I thought, not that I tweaked the deck, I just never, a lot of times, the last 2 weeks have been pretty crazy for me. I thought he might have played like Raltier Ops or ISB. Or what am I talking about? He's light side. I thought he might have played Throne Room, which against Hunt Down I think it can kind of go either way. But yes, I have Vader, but of course he's too expensive to deploy turn 1. I'm like, maybe I'll just put Janus. I put Janus Egregious out at the Docu Bay, which takes his activation all the way down to just 3. So, I see the Echo Base Garrison, which again kind of screams some type of speeder beats. I do the sticker book token one more time here. This is our final game, 5 of 5. Biggs Darklighter is the sticker book token for those participating in the program. Let me paste the link one more time. That should be it. Yeah. So if anyone wants to submit, this will be on the YouTube channel. As we kind of wind down here. Thanks to everyone who watched this live on a replay. But so this Echo Base Garrison pulls out maintenance droids, of course 8D8, who made an appearance in Book of Boba Fett, to spoil a little bit. But so I see Luke with a 6, I see 8D8, I just scream numbers, and I'm obviously just pretty happy that I started You Cannot Hide Forever, and there's basically no way I'm going to throw that in my lost pile. So he gets Income Corporation out, which again indicates he's probably got some type of speeder beats. Which is a pretty good approach against like a Raltier Operations, because they can't play barriers on speeders. Barriers, of course, only work against characters and starships. They don't work against vehicles. So with Income Corporation, I don't know if he's got like an S-foils floating around, but you can get a lot of power very cheaply. The problem is that their forfeit's really bad, like the Rebel Snow Speeders. So obviously my plan here is turn 2, get Vader out, flip. I was fortunate to Janus into the lightsaber. Fortunate to have the altar for the Echo Base Garrison or for the Honor of the Jedi. And out comes Vader, the Visage. And I flip here. 1 second. So yes, now I'm threatening a drain of 2 here. A little worried that he has like a as I alter the garrison just to try to stifle his ability to get out speeders, get out potent speeders. Lost in the Wilderness. is a card that exists and there's no shield for it in this format. So you kind of need like a sense, or you just hope they miss the draw, or you just sometimes don't drain unless you're like, if it's totally backbreaking. At least in this instance, if he does play something like that, I would just recapture him with Janice and then hope to hit like a search party draw, like a 5. Um, but yeah, so I have 7 cards in my hand. He only has 4. just when he's activating so little, he only has 1 Twix in his hand. So I think Benji had a bit of a tough draw here in terms of matchup, and I think also the cards that he drew in his hand weren't doing him a lot of favors. But I think this, like I said, is a matchup that's pretty good for Huntdown. I didn't want to put out my other battlegrounds to give him a place to go. That's where Search and Destroy didn't really make a lot of sense to try. That would just be aggressive, especially if he does get out Honor. And obviously he does something, well, we'll get to the next turn. So I play Twilight Advisor to get Come Here, Be Coward, make sure he doesn't get Retrieval. Just try to do as much as I can here to keep the pressure on the one best angle of Huntdown. There's a Barrier, Snow Speeder. And he does like a mix of speeders with Snow Speeder and Sand Speeder and Rebel Snow Speeders. So if Emperor Palpatine, at the very least, he can soak up some battle damage if he comes down with, 6 speeders or something like that. But yeah, I think at one point he does find his Twixes, and well, you know what happens? Oh, we'll get to it. He definitely had some tough luck this game. All right, so I draw the Docking Bay. Start doing the thing with Emperor and Janus again. This is mostly Desai's deck. He played 4 Emperors, 3 or I think he played 2. Maybe he did play. Maybe I added the 3rd Janus. Maybe he's got 3rd Janus. Janus is obviously great with Emperor. Get the Drain +1. You could cycle cards, cycle all your High Destiny, find the cards you need. So Benji comes down here with 5 Snow Speeders. 4 of them are only to deploy 1. Civil Disorder, try to put some pressure on, make me deploy cards or lose 2. During the battle, not that I don't have to worry about draw their fire, I pull out a low Destiny Admiral Chirnu. I Janus into an its worst. That would have been nice to draw for Battle Destiny. And yeah, and he draws a 0 here, which is really tough luck. I don't need to lose anybody. You would need to draw at least a 3 to crack anyone's immunity. I draw 1, so I'm going to peel 2 in battle damage and also stack a card to I feel the conflict. And I lose Lord Vader and Mara Jade off the top, a couple Destiny 1s. I think I now lost both my Mara Jades early, but they would be kind of helpful, or she would be helpful as a spy. If opponent controls the site, I could cancel this, which would be pretty potent. I pee it here just again to soak up in case he draws high. Make sure I don't lose any of these kind of key characters right now. Also, it gets me around Civil Disorder, so I don't have to lose 2 force. But I draw 4 here. Again, these speeders deploy 1 power 4 with Income Corporation, but they're only forfeit 2. And then I don't think they get a forfeit boost. And this again is unfortunate for Benji that he draws another 0, which is just really bad luck that he draws 2. And he loses then a Home Run War Room off the top. All right, so but he has Honor going. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously because I missed this not too long ago. Against Desai in the retro event last year, I deployed Honor. He altered it because he was on the 7 side. Against Huntdown, make sure you occupy a battleground before you put out Honor of the Jedi, because it's only immune if you occupy. And if Darkside's on the 7 side, there's no add 4 to the draw. So I could not cancel Honor. So this is buying him some time. So I'm not doing any damage now. I'm not draining. And I am not inflicting Visage of the Emperor damage. And he's obviously, with only activating 7, he's trying to just build his hand, build resources, and hang in there until maybe some Destiny draws start turning around from him. But I have Sim, who gets barriered. He's only deployed 2. Adds a Battle Destiny. That was a good play, just to prevent me from getting 2. I look at the top of his reserve deck with Sim. It's another 0, so now this is three times he draws a 0, which is just awful luck. And they're not in his hand, they're all on top of his reserve deck. So, some of these early battles go a little differently. He could chip away and kind of establish control and eventually maybe free Luke. Free Luke would be tough just because I have so many Imperials, especially in personas of like Vader and Emperor. And well, the Emperor couldn't get to play out, but like Janus and everybody. All right, so now he loses that Yoda's hut rather, loses the barrier. I'm only up 2 force in life, but I have a much healthier hand with 15. Start Janusing stuff to find the key cards I need. At one point, I try to, as we get on the finish line here, I try to find the Executor because I figure, hey, at some point I should probably set up in space. And I wasn't too worried about over deploying to this platform because at some point, if I needed to, I can docking bay transit to the Executor, docking bay, and then move them to the bridge of the ship and not get too worried. But I wasn't sure if I should just kind of really go aggressive at the docking bay with like Fed and Iggy to add a Destiny, which I think I do eventually. But I hold off for a little bit. I Simalude down to 4, figuring, with someone there who can soak up, like, he's what, 6 forfeit? Yeah, Janus is 5, so, with Barrier, with Sniper, like, in pretty good shape here. Even if we're stalling, I think the more time that kind of goes by, I just have all these cards in my hand that can help out. And that's where this turn I go. Iggy and Fett. Thought he might have had the barrier for one of them, but... and then I just draw a total of 12 here, so... I think this is where... Yeah, he concedes. So it was a really tough draw for Benji, but... It took, like, not only just drawing zeros, but not finding his locations to get activation. And I think the matchup is just tough, and... I don't think it's always... I don't think every hunt... even me, I... wasn't positive that I was going to be starting You Cannot Hide Forever. But when you see a Destiny 6 character starting on the table, you got to make sure, in this format, make sure that your opponent's not going to be able to play Never Tell Me the Odds a bunch and cause damage. So those were 5 streams. 3 were mine, 2 were Ryan's, spread across games 2, 4, 5, 6. I think maybe there was game 3 in there of the event. Thanks for checking this out. Hopefully we get a couple more of these up. The next event, if you just go to the forums, forum.starwarsccg.org, do a Control F for Retro. There's a Retro League. If you are in the league, or if you already signed up, great, you're registered. If you're seeing this stuff for the first time and you're like, wow, there's a league for this, yeah, you could still sign up through July 22nd. I think we drew the cutoff. Be a 6-game event. You basically just play on Gemp. You kind of just email your opponent, be like, hey, I'm available to play games during this time. Okay, cool, I can do it at that time. You play the game in Gemp League. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. So if anyone's kind of new, and I think it's really cool for, again, new returning players, and also you got some veteran players who play open, who enjoy kind of going like a flashback, kind of seeing the game through a different lens or an older school lens. So signups are still open. With any of this stuff, if you have any questions, just email marketing@starwarsccg.org. Always open to feedback. But I've been pleasantly surprised in looking at the data that it seems like people do enjoy these Decipher era streams. So thanks for tuning in one more time. The sticker book program token is Biggs Darklighter. I pasted in the chat if you're watching this on Twitch. You can see the link there, but just ask around some people that can point you in the right direction of all the details of the program, but we talked about it a little bit on here. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and may the Force be with you. Take care. Bye.